I am going to be interviewing my great aunt to ask her about her experiences in the World War II. This is my great aunt called Timmy, although her real name is Anne Caddock. We call her Timmy because she was the smallest of her sisters and she always had to reach on her tiptoes to get something. They called her Timmy Tiptoes, and now our whole family calls her Timmy. She lives in Pavenham in Bedfordshire. She is 87 years old and lives in a very old thatched cottage with her dog, Anna. How old were you when the war started?
When the war started, I think I was about 17.
Okay. What was your job in the war?
In the war, I was in the Wrens, and I was a gunnery analyser, which meant we were doing various things, measuring people's ability to shoot straight, and shoot the aircraft down.
Did you like your job?
Oh yes, I liked it. It was great fun.
Were there any positive things about the war?
Were there what?
Were there any positive things about the war?
Any what?
Positive things about the war.
Positive. Oh, yes. I think you'd say the companionship of the people you were with. It was all good fun. And the job was extremely interesting. Particularly latterly when I joined a mobile unit and we went round to various ports, Portsmouth, Sheerness, Harwich, Plymouth, and we went out in Hunt-class destroyers and then didn't do the accuracy of one man. We were planning the accuracy of the whole ship, the destroyer.
Okay, were there any bad things about the war?
The boredom, hanging about, not doing anything at all. When you started smoking, purely for something to do.
What sort of things did you eat during the war?
Eat?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. Well, very ordinary things, sort of sausages and baked beans and bullied beef and that sort of spam, disgusting stuff. And that was it. I can't remember much about what one ate.
What was your reaction and feelings when you heard the war was over?
Oh, I was very pleased. I'd had enough of it. Ready to start life.
How did the war affect your life?
I don't know. That's a very difficult question, that, you know. Did you plan it yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, it got one away from the home where I'd been at boarding school. It got you into a completely different sort of set of people. So it enlarged your horizons a bit that way. I would have gone to Oxford and read history.
Oh, right. So did you do that in the end, or?
I wanted to do it, and I planned to do it, but it went wrong because I had to go to hospital and have a thyroid operation, and it didn't go quite right, and I wasn't too well afterwards. So I then felt a bit impatient. I felt I was 22 or 23, and I couldn't waste any more time. So I didn't. I just did different things. I ended up doing riding.
Yeah.
Went up to Aberlour and taught up there.
What sort of music did you listen to and like in the war?
Where classical music is concerned, I like Mozart music best of all, but I like anything like that. I don't listen to modern jazz particularly. I don't like that. A lot of dances locally and at Portsmouth and where I was where I was stationed.
Yeah, what music did you dance to?
Oh, I can't remember. sort of dancey tunes. Well, then when the Americans came into the war, they altered all the dancing altogether. And if you sort of wild dancing then, sort of throwing yourself about and all sorts of things, one thought that was more fun. One thing that was fun was at one time there was a very good theatre in Portsmouth, and we had a lot of the Noel Coward plays when they were just starting off. And Noel Coward and, what's the name, that woman he played opposite a lot, used to come down and talk to us, apart from being in the plays. And it's rather nice now hearing people going to these Noel Coward plays, that I saw that play with him in it 40 or 50 years ago. He used to go through a very crafty dodge. There was one of the chief petty officers there whose wife hadn't been very well, and she was supposed to eat a lot of eggs. And when I came home, as my mother kept chickens, I always had plenty of eggs, and I used to take home eggs back to the base. But when I went home, he would save up his rum ration and give me a bottle of rum to take home. Well, that was very, very precious, because people didn't get much spirits to drink. And we made cocktails with this rum. I forgot what it's called now. Anyway, it was a mixture of rum, orange juice and lime juice. Oh, I know, it was called a clipper. And that's a lovely drink. Very exciting.
About your job, was it like difficult, or did you find it easy?
Well, some things about it were difficult. When you had to be with this machine, which is sort of like a great desk thing in front of you, and you've got these two little needles chasing each other, following the line of the gun outside. And you had to make certain that these needles were well cleaned, because you didn't want the ink to come out too fast, but you didn't want it to stop altogether. So you had to keep on cleaning it out. It was really quite hard work. And then sometimes you got put on a different place. It was called Y, Station Y. You had to climb up a very high wall, about 5 or 6 feet high, and stand there tied into a little telescope thing. And there was 2 of us there, one each side, and one followed the path of the aircraft as it came in, and the other got it from, it was going from left to right. And that was plotting the path of the aircraft. And it was very, very cold doing that, particularly in cold weather. And you had to have a very good coat on before you went up there.
Were any of your family injured or died? Did they die in the war?
My brother was. He was a rear gunner in a Wellington, and he entered the war right at the very, very beginning, and he went on operations fairly quickly. And then he was shot down coming back from Bremen, I think in 1942.
Did any of your mum, your mum, or was your mum in?
My mother was in the village at home, running the WVS for the village. She started them making jam and doing everything like that.
Yeah.
And she used to collect waste paper a lot. She'd go racing around the village with a wheelbarrow. I don't know what she did with this waste paper when she got it, but she certainly used to go collecting it with great bundles.
So where did you live during the war?
Where do I live?
Yeah.
What? When I was home, the family home was at Stevington. the next door village down the road there.
Right.
But I was living in Reardon's quarters wherever I happened to be. Portsmouth, Plymouth, Detling. When we were on this mobile unit, we always had to be inland a little bit because we had 2 aircraft which we had to keep with the unit because that was part of our outfit. So we always had to live on an aerodrome. And so that's why we lived at Detling Aerodrome and the other at Harwich, that sort of thing. We lived at Ipswich Town. We lived there. There were so many aerodromes about all over the place then. I think about every month you had what's known as a short weekend. Short leave, it was called. And then you would have a long weekend when you would actually have the Monday as well. And that was really worth coming home for. And then once every 3 months, you had a week's leave. And that was very exciting. Because the difference where money was concerned was very, very obvious. They seemed to have so much money to throw about it used to annoy our local servicemen.
These are some photographs from the war. I really enjoyed interviewing my great aunt, and I have learnt a lot. It was very kind of Timmy to give up her time to share her adventurous and wonderful experiences with me. We are lucky that we can listen to the experiences of some who have been through one of the most life-changing events in history.